Good morning. Welcome to what's probably a bit of a silly idea, but I thought I'd start a new YouTube photography channel. I know there's plenty of other YouTube photography channels out there, so I'm not going to try and reinvent the wheel, but I thought after doing this as a hobby myself for 2 years, I've learned a couple of things, but I'm still very much an amateur, and I'm quite happy to embarrass myself, and I'm quite happy to make mistakes. So I thought I'd share some of the things I've learned, show some of the mistakes as I make them, and hopefully a few people might learn from that, and I can also share some of the joy that I get out of this hobby. I've had to get up quite early this morning. It's 7 a.m, and it's a pretty bad time of the year really here in New Zealand to get up early for landscape photography. We're a week after the summer solstice, so sunrise is at 5:45 a.m. I had to wake up at 4:20 in order to get here in time for that. So I thought I could share a few of the images that I've captured this morning and talk along the way a bit about motivation and what really I've found reduces that motivation. So, those were the shots I captured. Now, looking back at them here, at home in my studio, on the screen, these are not perfect photos. They're not technically perfect, and they're not going to win any awards. But for me, the joy is that they're my photos and that I captured them. Now, as far as I know, I was the only person out on that hill this morning looking over that beautiful view. And for me, that makes those images special because they're connected to something I remember doing that I enjoyed. When you first start out in wildlife and nature photography, I think there's a bit of a trap that you can fall into. I certainly did. And that is to look at the very best work that professional photographers have captured and selected to put on Instagram or enter into competitions. And when you compare what you've captured on an outing to those images, you're left disappointed. The taste that I had for amazing landscape and amazing bird photos just did not match my own ability when I started out. The two weren't even close, and so I'd get home and inevitably I'd be disappointed when I plugged in my memory card and started scrolling through pages of raw photos, and they looked nothing like the images that I was seeing online that were motivating me to get into photography. What I was doing is, I think, a common trap. I was comparing my behind the scenes to someone else's highlights reel. And I've found that's one of the most dangerous mistakes you can make as an amateur photographer, and it will really reduce your motivation. And I found after struggling with that for several months, the solution for me was to change who I was comparing myself to. And instead of comparing myself to the very best work by other photographers, I instead now compare myself to a previous version of me, to what I was capturing 6 and 12 months ago. And I've found by doing that, I'm getting a lot more joy and I'm a lot more motivated to engage in photography and to go out and capture images. I don't think anyone's born with a magic photography skill. Like playing a musical instrument or any other form of art, it's something you have to practice and you have to make mistakes. You can watch hundreds of hours of tutorials from the best pros out in the field. You can read all the books and study all of the science and theory behind cameras and operating a camera. But unless you're actually out there yourself with a camera, making mistakes early in the morning, in the cold, maybe even in the rain, you're not learning and you won't actually understand how to compose and create a beautiful image yourself. While I'm talking about the topic of motivation, it's also worth mentioning a little trick I've found that's helped me stay motivated to keep going out and capture images myself. And that is to make sure that I leave while I'm still having fun. Typically I'll make sure I'm out for a maximum of maybe 2 to 3 hours. I found, as a photographer, wanting to capture incredible views and incredible moments out in nature, the temptation is to stay out for a long time and to wait until something really incredible happens. And that's definitely what I did when I first got into the hobby. I'd stay out for really long periods of time waiting for something incredible to happen. And then when it didn't, I'd walk home or walk to the car and then drive home cold and tired and hungry, and I wouldn't be as keen to go out either the next day or the next weekend or when I had some free time. And so I've changed that by actually limiting how long I'm out in the field for. And when I walk back to the car, I'm still excited, I'm still in the zone, I really enjoyed the session hopefully, and I'm thinking about going out again next time. And that was a small change that I made. And maybe if you're struggling with the motivation to get out and shoot images, that's something you could try as well. So, if you're sitting there and you're looking at a camera, maybe one collecting dust in the cupboard, and you're wondering if you should pick it up and get out and take some photos, even though they aren't probably going to be very good, my advice is definitely do it. Get out, take the lens cap off and start shooting. That's how you learn, and if you do that time and time again, you do start to improve and you will have something you can look back on and compare yourself to and look at the progress you've made in your photography. That's probably it for this first video. I'm going to go make a cup of coffee after that very early morning start and maybe even head back to bed after that. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.